What's up YouTube? Long time no see. Let's talk a little bit about what I'm doing here in the very first couple seconds of this video. So before we get started, I wanted to quickly give a massive shout out to everyone that was involved with the second iteration of my passion project, the Rogue Summit. Rogue Summit 2 was a huge success. It was a much better success than the first one. Once again, I want to give a massive shout out to everyone involved, TPDC, to MK, to all the other people that were helping me out with production. Specifically Ramon and Amri, and also as well as everyone that was helping me behind the scenes, and all the players. Shout out to all my best friends for getting involved. This tournament was crazy. Now, normally when we do Rogue Summit videos, I tend to do highlights and best moments. But because of mic quality and stuff like that, there were moments with the audio where things started to get a little bit messy. So instead, I've decided to turn this video into a bit of a story time-esque video. That's right, we are going to be talking about my run at the Rogue Summit 2. Let's listen. Summit 2, kicking a fucking game. 3, 2, 1. Alright, so you're probably wondering what RS2 even is in the first place, and that is a great question. Rogue Summit 2, for those that don't know, was a Street Fighter 6 Invitational tournament that not only that I hosted, but I also ended up taking part in with a bunch of my good friends who were also pretty good at the game. And it was a very interesting tournament. It was about 9 of us that were competing. Initially, there was supposed to be about 13 of us, but things didn't end up going the right way, and there was a bunch of challenges with trying to make this thing work. So much so that it ended up becoming something that we had to basically kind of adapt to, and Rogue Summit 2 essentially became this thing where I just kind of had to work with, and yeah, it was pretty interesting overall. But when I look at the bracket over here, let's talk a little bit more about my run, and let's talk a little bit about the games that I had first and foremost. Now, obviously, I started pretty down low. I seeded myself 7th because I really didn't think I was that good at that point. My first match was against my good friend MK, who I mentioned before. He was with me pretty much the entire time with production and everything else. And it's thanks to him that we managed to get another monitor running going for the tournament. So yeah, shoutouts to MK for that. But in the tournament, everyone is considered an enemy, and it was time for me and him to go head-to-head in my first game, winners round 2. Now, things were going pretty swimmingly, if I do say so myself. I think we were going pretty much back and forth in between rounds. I was super shaky in the first couple games because I wasn't really feeling too good about myself. I think it was pretty scared at the time. Tournament nerves kind of started to play in a little bit because it could go any way between all of us, right? Nobody really truly knew who would win at the time, and it was quite scary. So between me and you, I think I would have lost to MK, but lo and behold, you know, game 1 went pretty swimmingly. Game 2, he started to catch up a little bit. I got worried, and we went back and forth, and then it all came down to game number 5, down to the literal wire. I'm not kidding, and I was able to reverse it over with a misinput DP, actually, believe it or not. I was not supposed to win that game. We were literally down to our final, pieces of health, and with 1 DP, I ended up winning the entire set, taking it over MK, and it was nuts. I sent him to losers, and in my next game, I had Keys. Now, Keys, for those of you who don't know, plays Ken. I don't like fighting Ken. I know a lot of people probably are like, oh, you can just, cheese him out, he just DPs a lot. And yeah, he does, but I really hate fighting Ken. I really do not enjoy it a lot. Maybe it's because I'm just really stupid at times, but fighting Ken this time around wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Fighting against Keys was something that I was kind of worried about initially, mainly because when we played a couple times, he beat me. So I was like, okay, well, during friendlies, he beat me, but this is tournament. So let's just see how that goes. And playing against Keys was pretty good. The first game I started off quite nice. I beat him, ended up getting a pretty nice lead overall. And then when he took a game, my heart was like, uh-oh, this is where things can start to shift. And if it shifts, I'm in trouble. So things started to go a little bit south. But I was able to bring it back and make it sure that I was going to move on with a 3-1 win over Big Boy Keys, making sure that I move from winners round 3 into the next round, where Well, for those of you that don't know, I had to face off against none other than Storm Chariot, Vafdi, or my good friend Quincy, and it was one of the funniest matches I think I've ever had the opportunity of playing. For those of you that don't know, me and Quincy are very competitive in our nature. Quincy is easily one of my best friends. I consider him like an older brother to me. The two of us were in this massive argument. We had like a tiny argument, so I don't know why I said massive, but we had a tiny argument right before the bracket started. Where, you know, we were kind of talking shit about one another and stuff like that, and we were like, alright, who's gonna win? And, you know, we actually placed a tiny little bet before the tournament happened a couple of weeks before. And
you become my son.
But, say that.
You become my son.
Your son? Nah, you're getting way too excited about your son.
Nah. No. If I beat you in bracket, you become my son.
You know what, yeah. I'm very confident, you know. I'm very confident.
If you wax me, I'll take on whatever you want.
I bet. Say that.
He's gonna
Let's run it.
And I said that if I lose, my tag would change to Mercy Storm Chariot Asura, and if he lost, he had to change his name to a choice of mine and some of the other guys as well. And we thought that this would be the only time that we're meeting, because down in the losers, it was going to become a shark fest. And I was going to say that in a bit. Right after the break, you know, we showed off some stuff in between. I announced Rogue Summit 3, which we'll probably talk about sometime later on in this video. But before then, obviously, then we had me and Quincy as the first match of top 4. And yeah, I beat him 3-0. I didn't really know if it was due to like a bunch of misinputs, but there was a time where I'm pretty sure I kept dropping a lot of my combos. I remember Drive Rush, I didn't have my buttons set for Drive Impact. I won a round, or I won a game without using Drive Impact, and then, yeah, it became a recurring theme. Yeah, button checks for me just... Yeah, I should really be checking my buttons before I even press play. That was on me for most of it. But yeah, no, after beating Quincy, I was sitting comfortably in the winner's side of Grand Finals. That was obviously now my time to see, okay, alright, well, now I've got challenges. And the top 3 now were me, Tinu, and Quincy. Tinu at this point had just beaten Q's 3-1 with Cammy. And Tinu, honestly, he's a formidable foe, he's a formidable force. He ended up coming second in Rogue Summit 1, losing to Izzy. Very, very close games, but it was a pretty nasty 3-0 that we got from Izzy in the first game. Rogue Summit. So in Losers Finals, came down to Vafdi and Xeno Blue. Both of them very good in their own right. This is Jury versus Cammy, so honestly, this could have gone either way. And in what seemed to be easily the tournament set, like the set of the tournament, it was just one of the greatest things I think I had ever witnessed. It was a game of footsies, a game of genuinely both of these guys using their heads to try and go around each other. It was like watching two chess professionals play each other at chess. That's what it looked like to me. That's what it felt like to me. But Quincy, in a Game 5 scenario, manages to edge it back on top, making it 3-2, meaning the fateful rematch between me and Quincy would happen in Grand Finals. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, both of us would have met in Grand Finals, and this is where things would start to get interesting. Reminder that not only was our pride on the line, but our bet was on the line too here. We didn't think we would meet earlier on, and especially because I thought Tinu was going to beat Quincy in Losers Finals, I didn't think that this would have to matter, but now everything was to play for it. If Quincy wanted to win, he would have to win 2 sets in order to get to Grand Finals reset, and then in order to then beat me, would have to win the set again in order to win the entire tournament. But if I wanted to win, I just had to win 1 best of 5. And it was a back and forth Grand Finals. It was one of those ones where we got down to Game 5 of the first set, and in both games, we were just really just struggling to put one on each other. Really silly mistakes here and there from both of us, causing us basically to lose games by pixel margins. Quincy whiffing an attack. The final attack from me was a low heavy kick, I believe, a low sweep from me. And crouching heavy kick. And it was just, you know, looking back at it, it was such a close and tight game because you really could have edged it out to a bracket reset. And personally, me, I really wanted to see the reset so we could get another best of 5 in. But unfortunately, Grand Finals ended 3-2, me winning the tournament and winning Rogue Summit 2. So you know, that's mostly it regarding RS2. That was my run when it came to the tournament. Honestly, it was, this one could have gone either way. The thing is, with Dragon Ball FighterZ when we ran RS1, was that everyone was good, right? Everyone was so good that anything could happen, but there were... It's like Dragon Ball, you can see, like, there are people a little bit higher than everybody else, and it's like, well, okay, I could kind of see where this is going. With RS2, however, Street Fighter 6 has only been out for 2 months, and with the people that were playing, we had new people playing, we had people that have never, like, you know, touched the game before playing against people that have been playing this game straight for 2 months. The top 4 was pretty clear cut between me, Quincy, Tinu, and Keys, and we already kind of thought about this beforehand. But before that, everyone, it was very even. Games were extremely close no matter what way you look at them. Even if you find a 3-0 in the bracket, the games themselves were so close. The hype, the crowd stuff, it was amazing. I really enjoyed every single moment. We had a lot of people in the room. It was at my house, which we'll probably never do again. But we worked hard. We managed to raise over £200 for Cancer Research UK, which is awesome. So big round of applause to all of us for doing that. And yeah, it was a huge success. And I'm really proud of everything that we were able to achieve. You know, the fun, the antics. You know, it was a 3-day event, but even then, it was just really cool to hang out with everyone again. Kind of just chill out and take it easy. You know, the summer has been nice to us, I suppose. I mean, the weather hasn't, but other than that, you know, we've just really enjoyed it. But yeah, man, it's been great. I've enjoyed Rogue Summit. I've enjoyed running it. RS3, however, got announced. At the end of this video, I'll play the trailer, but September 9th, ignore the date because it says September 5th on the trailer, but the next Rogue Summit will be a 1-day tournament, and it will be on September the 9th. Saturday, September the 9th, and it will be a 1-day tournament return to Dragon Ball FighterZ, and also a massive return for our good friend Gio, who is coming back from Rogue Summit 1. So, yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to leave you guys be. I don't actually know when I'll next make my new video, but should be fairly soon. But until then, guys, I'm going to leave you guys with the trailer for Rogue Summit 3. That's been my run. I'll see you guys soon. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.
Hold on. He said. Ah! Yes, that's what we're talking about. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, what?
Here comes a mighty warrior!
He made him look up!